Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Good Intelligence Sports Podcast Show. Today, I'm coming to you. The Saints have finally hired their new coaching staff. Well, let me say this: it's not everybody, because you got the dudes that's next to the dudes. So the offensive coordinator has been hired, the defensive coordinator has been hired, and some of the position coaches have been hired. Now, some of their assistants have not, but the Saints are retaining some of their other assistants from the Dennis Allen coaching staff. I got some of this stuff from the website. Like Jari Evans is not going anywhere. His profile and whatnot is still on the website. But Darren Rizzi, who has taken a job with the Broncos, his stuff is gone. So that's what leads me to believe that some of these coaching assistants from the Dennis Allen regime is still going to be on Kellen Moore's staff. But before we get into that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I know it's been maybe a week or so since I posted my last video, but that's because your boy has been busy with this Mardi Gras season. Look, hey, if you go to the parades in New Orleans and whatnot, look out for your boy. Assistant Band Director at LB Landry. Give me a shout out. Let me know you watch the show. Let me know you're a fan of the channel or however. But just holler at your boy. So I've been kind of in and out and busy with that. These parades, they do take a toll on you. I'm not young anymore. So, I'll be needing some recovery because my feet be hurting. Trust me, they be hurting, bro. But let's get off into some of the new hires that the Saints have. We all know Kellen Moore is the new Saints coach, right? Head coach. He is essentially the offensive coordinator too, because he will be calling the plays. Now, that being said, he does have someone officially with the offensive coordinator title. We all know him. If you've been a Saints fan for the longest, if you were a Saints fan in the 80s under Jim Moore, then you know this guy, Doug Nussmeier. Now, Doug Nussmeier is the father of Garrett Nussmeier, who is the current quarterback of the LSU Tigers. So it made perfect sense for him to come back home, so to speak, because the Saints did draft him in 1994 out of Idaho. So he is familiar with the organization. He played here for a couple years, which is probably why his son ended up at LSU. But nonetheless, he comes over from with Kellen Moore with the Philadelphia Eagles. He is the offensive coordinator, although Kellen has said he will be calling the plays. So Doug is probably going to be the one of his offensive assistants that helps with quarterbacks. But speaking of quarterbacks, the Saints do have a person with the quarterback coach title. His name is Scott Tolzien. So these are all new hires, by the way. So I'm kind of, maybe I understand you might need more than one offensive mind to, help with these development of players, because the Saints are going to need to develop a quarterback very, 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 very soon, because we don't know what they're going to do with Derek Carr. Derek Carr is due $50 million totally. This year with his bonuses and salary and whatnot, and if the Saints cut him post June 1st, then they take a $30 million hit and they accelerate. But I'm of the opinion, rip the Band-Aid off, get rid of the dude now. We're going to suck this shit anyway, with him or without him. We may win 2 more games if he's our quarterback. We're not going any sniffing no playoffs or nothing. So get rid of him now. Develop Spencer, or try to develop Spencer. And if Spencer is not the guy going forward, then draft your quarterback next year. That's my opinion. I understand I don't get paid millions of dollars, but this is what makes perfect sense to me. Now, moving right along. On the offensive side still, the Saints will be retaining Keith Williams as their wide receivers coach. I think this speaks more towards Keith's ability to get the most out of his wide receivers, because we seen what happened when Rashid Shaheed got injured, Chris Olave got injured, and they had to go find Dante Pettis off the UPS assembly line, and we had to go get Marcus Valdez-Scantling, who had been cut by the Buffalo Bills, and they came in and they produced, as good as someone who was not in training camp could produce. They produced, who else? Offensive line coach is going to be Brandon Nugent. He's coming over from the Chargers when him and Kellen Moore crossed paths when Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator out there. But he's also a former Saints coach. So he's coming back home, so to speak. I like to see what he does with the offensive line, how he can get, some improvement out of Trevor Penning. We'll see. Also on the offensive side of the ball, this last name will be very familiar. The tight ends coach is Chase Hazlitt. He is the son of Jim Hazlitt, who used to be New Orleans Saints head coach. He's also the Saints head coach, the first Saints head coach to ever win a playoff game. He's also the former head coach who was here during Katrina. So there's that. But Jim Hazlitt, Jim Hazlitt was a good Saints coach. He was good. It's unfortunate that a act of God pretty much got him out of New Orleans, but he did what he was supposed to do while he was here. Saints had been in existence for almost 30 some odd years and had never won a playoff game. Jim Hazlitt delivered that, by the way, with a roster from Mike Ditka, who couldn't win no more than 6 games. So Jim Hazlitt was a good coach. Let's see if Chase has inherited his father's coaching ability. He's coming over from the Cowboys as well. He's very young. He's I think only 32 years old. But he's an up and coming coach, so it's good to have him. Also on the offensive side of the ball, we got a lot of new offensive coaches. I'll tell you why in a second. But the running backs coach is a former Saints coach. His name is Joel Thomas. He is the only running back coach that Alvin Kamara had ever knew since he got here anyway in 2016. But he was let go last year because Kellen Moore was given carte blanche to name his staff. The offensive coordinator came in last year and was able to name any assistant and hire any assistant that he wanted. Kind of like, Dennis was trying to just basically move out of the way and give all of the offensive responsibility to Kellen Moore. And for the first 2 games, it worked. It was beautiful. It was a sight to see for the first 2 games. And then the wheels fell off. But moving on to the defensive side of the ball, Brandon Staley is your new defensive coordinator. Kellen Moore did Brandon Staley a solid because Brandon Staley, when he was the coach at Los Angeles Chargers, he hired Kellen Moore to be his offensive coordinator. And Kellen Moore, when he becomes a head coach, now does the same for his partner, get him in there as the defensive coordinator. So that's the equivalent of you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Hey, that's returning the favor. That's what that is. Brandon Staley, I'm kind of indifferent on this because we seen Brandon Staley wet the bed as a Los Angeles Chargers head coach. We seen him do idiotic things like go for it on like 4th and 12. We seen him on national primetime playoff game lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars after being up 20 some odd points. We seen, and this is with Justin Herbert at quarterback, by the way. Now that's before Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore wasn't there, so let's not try to pass this off on Kellen Moore. Brandon Staley was fired in the middle of the year that he hired Kellen Moore because he just couldn't get it done. Him and the general manager got zipped. So, but that's the past. That's the past. Let's move on to the future and the present. Hopefully Brandon Staley has learned his lesson and he doesn't come here trying to do all that. Now, I will say this from the positive standpoint. This does help Kellen Moore from the fact that he has a former head coach on his staff that can tell him all the things not to do. And, give him some type of experience of what he experienced when he was a head coach. There's nothing to teach you better than experience. I don't give a care how much studying and what you do. Experience is always the best teacher. But so Brandon Staley is now your defensive coordinator. He does come over with some new assistants on the defensive staff. We have one. The Saints have created a new position called the defensive pass game coordinator. This was not on Dennis Allen's defensive crew. It was a DC. It was a pass rush specialist, which was Brian Young, who has his replacement has not been named yet. It doesn't look like he's going to be retained, but I don't know. I did see his picture. Let me take that back. I did see Brian Young's picture on the website for the NewOrleansSaints.com. So I think he's going to be retained, but I don't know his position yet. But anyway, this new position of defensive pass game coordinator has been named Terry Joseph. He is the cousin of Vance Joseph and Mickey Joseph. Mickey is at LSU. Vance Joseph was the head coach, I believe. Wasn't he the head coach? I know he's defensive coordinator at the Denver Broncos right now. But so this is, get another Joseph in here. Hopefully he has his cousin's coaching game expertise. He has been not a coordinator, but he's been a coach in the college ranks for a couple years now, for some years. So he gets his shot at coaching in the pros. So that's a nice promotion. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, I have not seen too many other defensive staff assistants be named yet. More than probably so because Brandon Staley just got named like maybe 3 days ago as the new defensive coordinator. So they're probably still putting that staff together. The special teams coordinator is a promotion. This guy is was already coaching with the Saints. His name is Phil Galliano. So we'll see if he's able to continue Dan Rizzi's teaching. Dan Rizzi was a good special teams coach, not so much as a head coach. I think he had his opportunity, he had his shot to prove that he could do something with the Saints, but it's just, nah. Yeah. But he's with the Broncos, so the Saint Broncos, I should say. So we'll see what he does over there, and we wish him well in his future endeavors. Yeah. The Saints are trying to reestablish or establish a new culture with this particular team. We'll see if they're able to get to where they want to go and how soon they get there. In my opinion, I do not expect the Saints to win. I've told you that before, and I have not changed. I don't care who they name on here. It could have been the apostle, the 12 disciples named on this list, and I still say the Saints going to win no more than 7 games. Look, man, it's going to take everything in the world. It's going to take the perfect storm for the Saints to get more than 7 games. I don't expect them to win this year. That is my expectations. They are tempered because I don't want to get myself upset, and I'm not going to come on here ranting and raving every week when the Saints lose, because I'm just going to come on here and just tell you, I told you so. Now, 2026, Kellen Moore, you better have I almost cussed. Better have your ducks in a row. Better have your T's crossed and your I's dotted, because I will be on here in 2026 giving you all that I got. If you come out and you wet the bed in 2026, the salary cap going to be fixed. Derek Carr won't be in your way. The Alvin Kamara will be older, but I mean, hey, running backs get old. We should have some type of offensive continuity. That's be another year in your system. So I fully expect 2026 to be better than 2025. But we got to get there first. That's a long time away. We got to get there first. So I would like to see who the Saints name on the defensive staff. All these coaches, from what I've read, are good coaches. They're well respected around the league. So the Saints look like they may have something. And, these guys, some of these guys on here are more than likely looking for a shot to step up in the coaching ranks. So they're gonna give it all that they got in these positions because they want to be the man and not necessarily the man that's next to the man. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I'm getting at? You know what I'm saying? Huh? You picking up what I'm putting down? These coaches they're going absolutely go on out because we seen Kellen Moore get fast tracked to a head coach, and I'm sure one of these guys wants to be either a head coach or in Brandon Staley's case, a head coach again. This has been another episode of the Goon Intelligence Sports Podcast Show. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you decided to share with me today, and I appreciate you for that. Until next time, peace. Be sure to check LB Landry out in the Allah Parade tomorrow night, which is going to be Wednesday. So, like I said, if you go to these parades, holla at your boy. I'll see you out there. Peace.